Let's look around this sample editorial calendar that I've created in Airtable. It's based off of how I manage blog content for Tiny Blue Orange, but my Airtable has evolved quite a bit now that I manage my social media posts in Airtable as well. So I wanted to stick with the essentials so that you can get started with this editorial calendar and then expand on it as you get more and more comfortable with Airtable and with using Airtable as an editorial calendar. So I only have one tab in this base within Airtable, and that's to manage blog content. One thing that you can do is you can add additional tabs or tables if you'd like so that you can manage the different types of content. So, for example, Instagram, Facebook, newsletters, that sort of thing. Or you can have it all live in this same tab or table. So I have blog content here, and the fields or columns that I think are essential to using this editorial calendar are the post title, the publish on date, and this is a date field, the category, which is a drop down. I've plugged in some sample categories that aren't actually anything here, the status of the blog post, and then an area for research so that I can put in notes or links or anything that I might find valuable as I'm planning out these blog posts. So I kept this pretty simple because what it's about is organizing your blog posts within a calendar. That's what makes it an editorial calendar. I have some sample data that I'm going to copy and paste. So here is the spreadsheet, or as Airtable calls it, the grid view. So you see simply the columns with the content in them. So we have post titles, the date that it's going to be published on, the category, the status, and any notes. Okay, not super exciting. You might be like, this isn't much different than a spreadsheet. Why are we doing it this way? Well, the magic is in views. So over here, I have a drop down, and I have 3 additional views to look at. So I'm going to click on Content to Edit. This is another grid view, and it is similar to what we were just looking at, except it's filtering all of the entries by status. And so let's click on Filter so that we can see. Status is draft. So I know that these 3 blog posts are blog posts that have a draft, and I need to edit them. If I have an editor, that means I need to send them to my editor. If you want, you can choose to hide the status field. Since it's filtering by the status, you might not want to see it. But the reason that I keep it visible is because when I work on something, then I can come over here and I can say, this post has since been edited, and now it clears out. If you have the status hidden, you can still do that. You simply have to expand the record and scroll to the hidden field section, and from there you can change the status as well. So you can have as many filters as you want. You can change this if you want to know which ones you have to publish. And then the next view that I really like is the calendar view. So this is why I switched from using a spreadsheet in Google Docs to using Airtable for managing my blog content. This calendar view populates based on the publish on date field, and it puts the title of the post on a calendar. So here's June, and I can see that I have these blog posts scheduled for Friday, and I have this announcement on Wednesday the 19th. A little slick trick with the calendar view in Airtable is if you click on the weekends, it will show or hide them, and not necessarily hide them, but collapse them. You can view this calendar in month format, week format, 2-week format, etc. And you can choose to show the record list on the right side. This is helpful if you have some blog posts that don't have dates You could click and drag them to the calendar to add dates to them. And with any post that's already on the calendar, you can click and drag to rearrange, and the publish on date will change to whatever date you moved it to on the calendar. The last view is the writing process. And for this one, I have it sorted by status or stacked by status. And from here, you can customize the cards to show whatever you'd like. So maybe you want to know what category you're going to publish these as. And then the great thing that you can do is as you move a blog post through the process, you can click and drag to change the status. So if I had written this blog post about cat naps, I could move it over to draft. I always recommend sorting by date simply because the most recent or most upcoming blog posts will be at the top. And so that way you can keep on top of the priority content, but you do not have to have this field sorted. You do not have to have it as an option even. And this is a really simple way that you can use Airtable to start managing your editorial content.